Mechanical engineering versus sales engineering. What's the difference? Which one pays more? Which one suits your personality better? My name is Abdullah and I've been a mechanical designer and I've been a sales engineer. And this video will help you understand both roles a lot better so you can choose what's right for you in your career. So number one is, what are the primary tasks for a design engineer and what are the primary tasks for a sales engineer? So I'm going to be focusing on the MEP side, especially HVAC design. And in HVAC engineering, you focus a lot on calculations, on designing CAD drawings from the ground up. You need to come up with solutions that are very detailed, and you need to report your progress to your manager. And your client is basically the building owner, basically. And in the beginning of your career as an HVAC designer or an MEP consultant, you're not really going to interact with the owners or your clients that much. Now, when it comes to sales engineering, the main focus is developing long-term relationships with your clients, which are engineers. So that includes taking them out for lunch, checking up on them, making sure that they're all taken care of. And the main bulk of the work is making HVAC equipment selections. So as an HVAC sales engineer, you're successful if engineers come to you and ask you for equipment selections. And as a sales engineer, you're basically kind of running your own business because you have a bunch of accounts that you take care of and you report obviously your numbers to your manager, but you're dealing directly with the client. And MAP consulting, you're kind of far away from the business development side in the beginning of your career. Number two is pay. So with MEP consulting and HVAC consulting, your pay is going to increase gradually, over a span of 20-30 years. You're going to get a small pay raise every single year or every couple of years for that whole time. And you're going to get, sometimes you're going to get a big jump. So for example, when you get your PEng and you become a professional engineer, you're going to get quite a big pay raise, maybe like 20,000 or 10,000 or something. However, there's very little room to fast track this growth. You can't go from $60,000 a year to 140 in 2 years. That's just not possible in MEP consulting, being a design engineer. However, with sales engineering, you definitely have the chance to make 140, 150, 200k in like 2, 3, 4 years if you're really good. So with engineering, it's more gradual, it's more guaranteed. With sales engineering, it's based on how good you are. It's not hourly. It's how many sales can you make, how much business development have you done in a certain territory. So if that suits your personality more and you're motivated by making sales, making money, and that's what you want to do, then consider becoming an HVAC sales engineer. And a big misconception that a lot of people have is that when you switch to sales, your base is going to be very, very low. And that's just not the case. My base actually increased when I switched from consulting to sales. So my base was higher and I also have a chance to make a lot of commission on top of that. So that's a myth and don't believe that. Third is personal skills. So what kind of personal skills are you going to gain working in both areas? So with MEP consulting and engineering, your problem solving skills are going to be developed very, very well. The problems you're going to solve are very detailed, so you're going to become very detail oriented when it comes to designing very, very specific systems. And when it comes to sales engineering, you are going to do some detailed problem solving, but the majority of the problem solving is going to be generally aligning solutions to your customers' needs. So it's very business based, it's very high level, and it's just basically taking care of your customers, making sure that they get what they want, figuring out who to reach and how to get the people that your customers need to solve this specific problem, finding manufacturers that suit the problem that your client is facing. All of that stuff are examples of the kind of problem solving you're going to be doing as a sales engineer. Hey, so I'm editing this video right now and I don't feel like I explained this point very well. So even though there are a lot of business aspects and kind of high level problem solving, there also is a lot of technical work that you need to do. It's just not as detailed as being an MEP consultant. So obviously you do have to know, psychometrics. You do have to know how to design an air handling unit. You do have to know the basics of designing a building, how to calculate heating and cooling requirements for a building. You are going to solve problems at that level of detail. It's just, it's not going to be as detailed as if you were an engineer. Fourth is career progression. So this kind of ties into the salary. So with MEP consulting and engineering, you're going to get another title, every couple of years. Maybe you start off as a junior designer and then become an intermediate designer, then a senior designer, then an engineer, and then a senior engineer, So you have these gradual steps that each come with a pay raise, and it's basically guaranteed as long as you stay there, for like 20 years, you're gonna get those kind of names. However, with sales engineering, there's not as many, names and kind of progressions in your career. So you can be, a sales engineer. Many people start off as application engineers, then move on to be sales engineers. And then above that is the sales manager, and above that is the VP, So it's a very short chain of command. And this has pros and cons, obviously. So the cons is obviously like you're gonna keep the same name, but honestly, for me, I don't really care about that. I care about providing value to my clients and making money. And if that's what you care about, then this shouldn't be an issue at all for you. And even though your position's name is not changing over time, you can make a lot of money. There are people who have been a sales engineer for like 20 years and they've made millions of dollars. And when you look at their LinkedIn, like you can just see one position for like 20 years, and you might kind of look down at that, but that person has made much more if they're good than their engineering counterparts. So if you're a person with a technical background and you're interested in making the switch to HVAC sales engineering and you want to learn more, then click the link in the description and put your information in, and I'll get in contact with you as soon as possible.